To be ethical, if you're a billionaire today, the thing that you need to do is give up control and power.
And your sectional.
So I don't want your money as much as we want your power.
So someone should make a company, produce something, employ people, add value, and then so you'll steal it. Let's get to, actually, I think this is more important, because kind of like with the 2016 campaign, everyone was focusing on Hillary Clinton. And we focused on Bernie. You can go back and watch those videos. Yeah. We have the most viewed videos on Bernie Sanders in that 2016 period. And we thought, okay, Hillary Clinton it's going to be effectively a coronation, right, with Hillary Clinton. But Bernie is the movement candidate. Right. That's the one that you have to dissect and ridicule so that people see the absurdity for what it is. Mm-hmm. Same thing here. If people are just focusing on Klobuchar or Warren, and I understand they're way further left, I think it's important to still recognize that Bernie and now AOC, these are the movement candidates that you need to be more concerned with. So that being said, at an event that was commemorating Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes.
One of them nailed a thing to the door of the church.
Different Martin
One of them,
Luther.
black guy.
Different one.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gave an interview with author Ta-Nehisi Coates. Well, here he is.
T-Coates.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've been really thinking and sitting with today is that there's this gun rights protest that's happening down in Richmond.
Right.
And
on MLK Day.
On MLK Day. But here's the image that has struck
MLK
with me the most about that. Is that when we go out and march for the dignity and the recognition of the lives of people like Freddie Gray and Eric Garner, the whole place
no mention of Brown.
No,
the one that started Black Lives Matter.
Or riot gear, without a gun in sight. And here are all of these people flying Confederate flags with semi-automatic weapons. And there's almost no police officers at that protest.
Okay, by the way, she says a couple of things. We'll get to the fact that actually, remember the guy says on MLK Day, well, as though guns are... Martin Luther King Jr., by the way, applied for concealed carry permit to defend himself and was denied despite qualifying. Right. MLK was not anti-Second Amendment at all, and that should point us to the dangers of giving over that authority and autonomy to the government, because at that point, the government didn't provide equal rights to blacks, and they had their justifications. Well, guess what? That can change at any point if the government is in charge of granting and recognizing rights as opposed to it being granted by a creator. And by the way, something else, it's also based on a false premise. She said, and there are all these guns and not a police officer inside. There were 3 different police forces working overtime. And like Gerald said, the event was peaceful, unlike the Black Lives Matter protest, which, by the way, she didn't mention, Ferguson. Hands up, don't shoot. Started with Mike Brown. Little word of advice. Don't try to punch a cop or pistol whip him with his own gun, just for starters. So in Ferguson, you had rioters, cost the city millions of dollars. Dallas, 12 officers were shot, 5 were killed. So, again, which side would really need more police at their events? Not to mention the little fact that an Antifa member tried to firebomb an ICE facility after being inspired by AOC's concentration camp rhetoric. And I want to be really clear here. It wasn't like some guy in Christchurch then mentioning, Candace Owens as a troll job. This person believed that there were concentration camps going on. It's really more like a Pizzagate comparison. Next clip.
It was also stupid.
We don't have a left party in the United States. The Democratic Party is not a left party.
Did you add the score?
I did not.
He's just doing that?
That's all him.
Which is remarkable because he's slack-jawed.
The Democratic Party is a center
ventriloquist
or center conservative party.
So hold on a second. There is no left party. The Democrat establishment, they're moderate. Do you mean do you mean on immigration, where you guys are for reasonable immigration reform, border security? Oh no, wait, hold on a second. You are for not only completely open borders and no wall, but against not deporting. We're not talking about dreamers or children. You are against deporting serial violent felons, provided that they currently live in sanctuary cities, and you're against sending back criminals who are in our prisons illegally? Oh, okay. Oh, well, you must mean that Democrats are they're more moderate on abortion, for things like limitations that most Americans, even who identify as pro-choice, like 20-week limits, I don't know, maybe the first try. Oh, wait, no. Oh, you mean the entire Democratic Party, with the exception of Tulsi Gabbard, support abortion up until the baby crowns?
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know, maybe the Democrat, let me think. They're centrist on firearms, right? Where maybe they're just talking about making sure that violent felons don't get firearms. And wait, no, hold on, that's already the case. Oh, no. You're talking about the dissenting opinions in Heller versus DC and the entire Democratic Party who want to make all semi-automatic firearms illegal? What do you, hold on a second, maybe, do you mean Democrats are moderate on taxes and they believe in a progressive tax code where, I don't know, maybe like 37% in the top bracket, or maybe our corporate tax should be comparable to other nations like Sweden? Oh no, wait, you're okay with a 90% tax and you want us to have the highest corporate tax in the industrialized world? I think there's a disconnect, you crazy, horrible human being.
Very stupid. Sounds center conservative.
Yes.
Very conservative.
Well, we go there, what, through abortion, guns, taxes, immigration. Mao say what? Okay, next clip.
The story that's not told is the impact on our collective psyche on the island.
There's again.
What is this?
No one believes
Sounds like the turtle humping a work
that the
boot. Not hear
United
that?
States treats us as full citizens, because the United States doesn't. You know, my own family, it's like they had all of these emergency backpacks ready to go with
talking about Puerto Rico
torches
for
and
people who are missing it.
MREs and rations, because they knew that no one was going to come. And
That's just smart.
that's the
That's just
psyche.
smart.
And to know that a society does not care for you has a profound impact on one's psyche.
Remember how we talked about ascribing intent?
Yeah.
So not only did she just ascribe motive and intent, knowing they don't care about you, but then also attributed non-existent policy to it, or actions.
Yes.
This goes back, lest you have forgotten, all the way back to 2017 with San Juan Mayor. He was claiming that Trump was withholding relief aid. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah, I do.
But if you recall, actually it was the mayor who hadn't attended any meetings, and Puerto Rican officials they completely failed to coordinate delivery of the supplies.
Yep.
So even those that they had received remained completely unopened. Look, in that picture right there, that's a press conference in front of unopened supply boxes. That's like Donkey Kong Country's banana hoard.
Oh my gosh.
Where, whatever could these supplies be?
But, yeah.
Right.
Why?
But
sat so
it must be because Americans hate Puerto Ricans.
Of course, and the supplies actually sat so long that some of them you couldn't be used anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't distribute them.
Right. Well, now, okay, so with the recent earthquakes, this is obviously what we're talking about, thoughts and prayers with the people of Puerto Rico. Of
course.
Puerto Rican government has repeated the same cycle with loads of supplies remaining in warehouses, not being distributed to those in need. I guess time to blame America. It's America's fault. 51st state, fingers crossed.
Right.
The problem with Puerto Rico is not the United States. It's not our conservatism. It's not free enterprise. It is the bloated, bureaucratic government that you, AOC, view as the solution to all problems. When you talk about taking out big businesses, when you talk about fair distribution, when you talk about more centralized regulation, who are you talking about? The exact kind of people, government officials, mayors, governors. I don't know the entire, maybe it's a Puerto Rico, I don't know exactly who it is. I know important people. The point is, you want them to be in charge of these disasters exclusively. You want them to be in charge of medical aid. That's also why you want to take away tax-exempt status from churches, who, by the way, provide an overwhelming amount of relief to a lot of these foreign countries. We did it here with Hurricane Harvey at one point, and they don't want to say, because, by the way, unless you forget, the argument is, well, you just did that, so it's a tax deduction. Right. Yeah, we raised several $100,000 for Hurricane Harvey because we would pay a few $1,000s left in taxes. You moron. By the way, hit the notification bell and hit all notifications on the bell if you've hit the notification bell before and you're subscribed, because now apparently the notification bell does not alert you of all uploads or the live streams. New video goes up every single night, with the exception of Sunday. And of course, join Mug Club, louderwithcreditor.com/Mug Club, because that is what allows us to continue to produce this content for you, and like 80% more content there in the entire Blaze TV catalog. All right, I think we have more of this broad. Next clip.
You didn't make those widgets. You sat on a couch
Maybe a love
while thousands
Maybe a
of
nice
people
sectional.
were paid
seat. A fainting couch.
modern day slave wages, and in some cases real modern day slavery, depending on where you are in terms of food production.
Not in this country.
You made that money off the backs of undocumented people. You made that money off of the backs of black and brown people being paid off a living wage, under a living wage. You made that money off of the backs of single mothers.
Single mothers.
And all of these people who are literally dying because they can't afford to live. And so no one ever makes $1 billion.
I like her hype man. He's so low key.
You take $1 billion
Laying
said it
on
like
your
3 times.
couches with the joke's on you. I was on a daybed.
It's a convertible.
It's a
By the way, do you
okay.
notice how right away she feels?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Americans exploiting black and brown people, paying them slave wages. Let me ask, how about the brown people paying brown people? What's their going rate, sweetheart? Let's get into the fair trade bullshit. I'm sorry, this thing bothers me so much. You see this all the time. People talk about like coffee or whatever it is that they're buying at the store. Cacao, which is a stupid term. It's cocoa. It's cocoa. It's cocoa. You just haven't roasted it. Stop saying cacao. It doesn't change what it is. You did. So you see this fair trade label on there, and what happens? They tell you the story, right? They go, well, you know, it's fair trade because if you don't pay fair trade, these people in these countries, we don't realize they're being exploited, and they're only making $1 a day. And you don't ask them, well, what are they making with your fair trade cocoa? About $1.50. It goes further there. They don't provide the context. For example, I think we have a source here. Ivory Coast agricultural workers make on average $4 a day. Those who work for fair trade certified companies see it boosted to a whopping $6.
Ooh.
So they're not being paid an American minimum wage. You need to provide the scale and the context. And on top of that, this goes back to AOC's false claim, the living wage claims, which doesn't really mean anything because it changes every single year.
Right, yeah.
They were debunked by Washington Post last year, lest you think that it's fake news. The company, of course, that Alexandria Ocasio-Nina Pinta Santa Maria Cortez, the one that she always takes aim at, is Amazon. For not paying its employees a living wage. These evil billionaires, right? They didn't make these companies. They just sat on their, what was it, the love seat? They just sat on their love seat.
Yes.
They just really pretty much, they sat on their bean bag. Didn't make these companies where there are now hundreds of thousands of people who have jobs.
Right.
Amazon alone employed 750,000 people in 2019.
That sounds like a lot.
And by the way, you want to know what AOC would do where she's talking about this if someone like her, so it's not necessarily about AOC because she probably won't make it to some kind of serious national platform as far as president or something like that because she's crazy. You can see to the eyes.
Please,
you know,
no.
Yeah, please no.
What are you calling a squirrel? It's my eye. It's the way my eye is. That's the way. Oh, well, okay.
Trying to get the horse to
Were
go.
you dropped? Yeah. Do you want to know what someone like AOC would do if they were in power nationally as they bitch about Donald Trump and one of the most burgeoning economies that we've ever seen? Look at her district in New York, where she gave Amazon the boot despite the overwhelming support of her constituents wanting to bring Amazon in along with its 25,000 jobs at below a living wage, mind you. $150,000 average annual salary.
Yeah.
That's more than 6,
But she's
right?
for the workers.
Yeah, we should just toss that to AOC.
Nice.
Think about that for a second. 25,000 jobs.
Yeah.
In Queens, gone. $150,000 a year.
Right.
The point is, if you think that that's exploitation, you just hate companies that aren't government owned. You want to nationalize everything. Don't tell me that it's about $16 an hour. Don't even tell me it's about $25 an hour.
Right.
You kicked out 25,000 jobs, averaging $150,000 a year. It's it. That's over. You're done. Nobody likes lying losers with crazy eyes. Next clip.
I think it's totally fine and human and natural to feel that way.
So my Jordans are okay.
I think your Jordans are okay. You know, it's like
Good
if
to
we
see your
live-
priorities are
if we
straight.
live in it,
Dahisi.
then like live in it while fighting for a better world.
Right.
It's easy. Of all the companies, she uses Nike as an example. Is it me?
Man.
Is it me?
It's a little crazy.
The same Nike famous for exploiting sweatshop labor conditions in other countries that we don't allow in our capitalist system, by the way, here in the United States. But it's okay when it's Nike because they support sodomy and this ass. So that's fine. I think we have. Is this the last clip of AOC?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank
goodness.
you. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay, let's
Lord.
roll it.
To be ethical, if you're a billionaire today, the thing that you need to do is give up control and power.
And your
So
sectional.
I don't want your money as much as we want your power.
Oh boy.
We don't want
Wow.
to
'Cause
demand
you earned it, right, AOC?
for a billionaire to fund this or that. What we want to demand is to change these systems, change the business model that has exploited so many people.
Huh.
I wasn't looking at my iPad. I was just looking down because I'm very sad.
It's embarrassing for her. to
We
hear her.
want your power. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, well, okay.
Come and take
Wait,
it.
hold on. Oh, okay. So someone should make a company, produce something, employ people, add value, and then you Oh, so you'll steal it.
Right. No, Stephen, you're misunderstanding. Billionaires, as she stated before, never make $1 billion. They take it.
They take it,
Right.
as opposed to what AOC
right.
does.
That's not taking it.
No, it's not taking
Not
it.
taking it. It's
Doesn't
repurposing.
Okay. All right. Toss a
She's on
couple
a
of googlies
chair.
into the mix. We're murky on the rule book.
Yeah.
By the way, before we get into the whole idea of why that is horrible, Jeff Bezos, I don't agree with his politics. We've talked about that quite a
Right.
bit. But he's not some guy who was raised wealthy with a silver spoon in his mouth.
right.
This is a guy, this is the American dream. Created, I keep saying Lest. I should stop. It's because of Lester Holt in my
Lester's,
mind.
yeah, it's on your mind. Yes.
We have to bring that back up. He does. He looks like a stylish Muppet.
He does.
In case you've forgotten, Amazon was a bookseller for a
Right.
long time. It
Yeah.
didn't become what it is today accidentally. I don't agree with his politics, but what gives me the right to take anything from Jeff Bezos? This is the concept of right. They want to take from people, AOC, who have actually worked to create something. It would be, to give you a more kind of direct comparison, I think I was talking with a researcher, Reg, who's brilliant, and he's so strong. He squats like 630 pounds.
wow.
He's like a competitive powerlifter at 180-pound body weight.
Jeez.
I said, imagine this, if we could put on just sort of these helmets, like I think you've seen them in Star Trek, where you switch bodies, and you've done all of this work, and for 8 years you worked to create this total so you can compete on a national level in powerlifting, and all of a sudden I just go, and I suck up your power. Because here's the thing, she's talking about giving us your power. Well, we see with Puerto Rico or the government, even the United States, they don't give up the power once they've taken it. The power is going somewhere. You are talking, AOC, about displacing power from people who are beholden to adding value, lest they lose power, I said it again,
Right.
versus you, who will have the power subsequently, regardless of having earned it. And we should know this. Anyone who has a serious firearm, a high caliber firearm, and has never used it, never trained with it, that's a bad idea. Put someone under a 500-pound barbell who's never worked their way up to create that strength. It doesn't end well. These people who want all of the power, as she just said, haven't earned it. It will collapse, and they will fold under the weight, and subsequently, the American people. And I don't understand why, if someone had to work to create this, let's even go back to Jeff Bezos. I don't agree with his politics. Why is it immoral for Mr. Bezos to want to keep what he's created, but it's not immoral for you or me to want to take it? Again, displacing this power from billionaires, you're going to displace it to people who made Puerto Rico happen. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe or hit the notification bell and hit all notifications, because not all notifications work now if you just hit the normal notification bell. I think there's some videos playing in boxes. But of course, do consider subscribing at louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub, because there's a bunch of content that could never make it onto YouTube. And I think the box is playing, there's a video playing in a box with